gently roll them back like we've got angel wings at the back of the body. And close your eyes. Let your belly relax, but try not to slouch. And then just shift some awareness to your breath. Notice how the breath travels not only just through the front of the body, but all around the back body. Where can you notice your breath goes? Does it stick around in your shoulders? Are you breathing more maybe diaphragmatically, so into the ribs, especially where our diaphragm is? Or maybe you're going really nice and low in that pelvis. Don't worry about what's going on right now, just notice what's happening. How does it feel? Is the quality of the breath really good today? And then we'll take one nice deep breath in. Nice big sigh out. Let's just blink the eyes open for a minute. And we're just going to start by just drawing the chin towards the chest. Just to stretch out the back of the neck and let your shoulders relax. And again, we're not chasing the stretch. We just want to ease into those muscles. And then slowly lift the chin up towards the ceiling, but not so much creasing the back of the neck. Think about really elongating the front of the neck, as if we're trying to kiss the ceiling. And then drawing the chin down towards the chest, nice and gentle. And then chin going up. And then just bring your head all the way back to centre, opening up the eyes again. This time we're going to slouch a little bit or lean back a little bit. So we're rounding our back. You notice that the shoulders come forward, and then we're going to come forward as if we're going in for a nice big kiss. So drawing your shoulder blades together. Have a nice little smile. I don't know which camera to look at. And then new journey, eh? And then gently lean back, nice and slowly. And then leaning forward. And what we're doing, we're kind of rolling on our sit bones a little bit here, so giving our butt muscles a really kind of nice little bit of a pad, which is always lovely to do. Especially things that kind of go through the butt, so like our sciatic nerve. It's a beautiful nerve actually. And then we're going to go some circles. Circles are lovely to do. So just moving around, listening to your body. Sometimes you might get a little creak or a crack here, but as long as there's no pain. And then go the other way as well. As if we're creating our own little massage system. Wonderful. Okay, we're going to come back to centre and just take your right hand onto that left knee and then stick your left arm behind you at your base of your back and fingertips digging into the ground, so really push into the earth, so you're lifting through your spine. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, just find a little bit of a twist. Don't force it. We don't want to kind of stress the tissues or even ignite too much fire in the system, so we're just working with a gentle twist. If it feels comfortable for you to kind of gaze back a little bit, then try that. But if it's not good, you know, if you've had a bit of a headache today, we've had some thunderstorms, haven't we? So maybe just keeping the head nice and neutral for you. Hold in here. 2 more breaths. And then slowly making your way all the way back round. Let's try the other side. So right hand onto that left knee, left arm, stick it behind, lift up through your spine, nice tall spine. Breath in, and a breath out, you just gently find your twist. Go nice and steady, don't force. Tap more into your breath. Maybe even just close the eyes for a moment. And then slowly making your way all the way back to centre. we're going to come down onto our back now and start with some yin poses. So shifting any props or anything you've got all the way, making some space, and just make your way onto your back. And we'll start by hugging the knees into the chest and just have a little rock. Maybe even roll your head side to side. Okay, so from here we're going to stretch our legs all the way down our mat and lift our arms up and over and give yourself that full body stretch like you do in the morning, or when you see cats stretching, a really good cat stretch. I'm going to start with our Banasana pose, but rather than thinking about the arch coming too strong through the upper body, think about what's happening in the hips. So as I walk my feet over to the right side, I'm going to walk my feet a little bit further across and then maybe shuffle my shoulders just a little bit. So I want more of a stretch into the hip, not so much in the back. Maybe the side of the waist would be nice. And you could hold your hands any way you feel comfortable. So maybe holding the wrists, maybe letting them go, maybe not even just having your hands on the body. If it feels good to maybe cross that left over the right, just to kind of target that outer thigh. But just make sure it doesn't go to your knee. And our ribs are still pointing up towards the ceiling as well. So I want you to feel something more hip and maybe waist wise, rather than kind of mid back. And then once you've found that spot where it feels okay, add your stillness. Let your face really switch off for a moment. So we're working with our left hip, or it doesn't matter which side you've gone actually. So open up through the left side of the body, and stomach. Where else in your body can you switch off? Maybe the backs of the legs. Maybe the upper back. Just 5 more breaths here. And then last one, take a nice deep breath in. Nice big sigh out. And then just slowly open up your eyes and just make your way all the way back to centre. We're going to scoot across to the other side, so just gently start to wiggle your legs across, but aim for that outer hip rather than sort of like your ribs. So avoiding that thoracic too much. And then just shuffle around, just making sure you do find that, not masses of stretch, but just kind of like a decent one today. And if you won't cross your legs, hold your hands a different way. And just sending your breath to that right thigh. Everything in your body just slow down. Even the activity of your palate, of your mouth, your tongue. Notice if you're clenching your jaw. Can you smooth over the lips? And then where else in your body can you add softness? Last 5 breaths here. And then take a nice deep breath in. Nice big easy sigh out. Just blink the eyes open and then slowly release. Bring yourself all the way back to centre. We're going to hug the knees into the chest. One hand on each knee and just sway those legs side to side. Awaken up the back. And then if it's comfortable for you to kind of be in this position here, or you could maybe reach for a pillow and pop a pillow underneath your head. Maybe holding onto the knees, holding onto the shins, or even just tucking the fingers at the backs of the thighs. You could interlace your fingers and just try and keep your feet side by side with this. And let your shoulders again just relax. What we want to do is just apply a small amount of pressure, so providing you've not had a big meal anyway, but just allow your thighs just to press against the belly. And then your chin's pointing down to the chest. And just take a few moments just to let the pose do its job. this particular position that we're in, where the knees are kind of hugging into the chest, and there's a slight roundness of the back. In Hatha Yoga we sometimes lift the head, and this really is helpful for stimulating our vagus nerve. And our vagus nerve is one of the first nerves to kind of produce whilst we're in the room. So this is quite helpful for improving what we call vagal tone. Helpful for organs, our immune. And when we're actually in the womb, we are in this fetal position for such a long time, and when we leave the womb, we start to develop these other spinal curves. We start to learn to crawl and then to walk. So we're in this state of constant parasympathetic nervous system at rest and digest. And when we hold for a little bit longer than we normally do, stimulating these senses, closing the eyes, enjoying the stillness. Now gently just take a nice deep breath in, nice big sigh out, and just have your hands on your knees or your shins and just give yourself a nice little rock. Let your legs separate and just have a nice little move around. So we're going to take the feet onto the ground and work with a twist next. So have the feet together and the knees together, and we're going to cross the left leg all the way over the right so there's no gap between the thighs. And then from here we're just going to allow the knees just to roll to the right. But you might notice my shoulder, my left shoulder, always lifts up off the floor. Too many chaturangas, I'll probably say, or not enough. So we're going to wiggle the shoulders over to the right. Okay, so both shoulder blades are on the ground. So you get this really nice cross body section here. So try and keep the legs nice and like zipped together. If you have a hard time keeping the knees together, grab a pillow or your bolster and slot it underneath the knees so you've got something to prop against. And then open up the arms out to the sides, maybe take like a T shape if that feels comfortable. But what we're trying to do is keep that left shoulder in particular rooted down. Which is quite a strong one for that outer thigh. Into some back muscles. Even a small stretch of the pec as well. Always remember, we're not trying to chase the stretch, we're not trying to force, we're trying to let our body do its own thing, responding to our nervous system and in a natural way, not through stimulus. So if if you have that urge to just grip or maybe, you know, tense, maybe back off. Maybe put your body into a safer position where it can relax. Our adrenals will thank us for it. Okay, 2 more breaths here. And gently open up the eyes and just slowly bring the knees all the way back to centre. Release your legs, and just before we go over to the other side, just wave your legs side to side, but nothing fast, really nice and slow. And then let's have a go at the other side. So just making sure your legs start together, and then cross your right leg all the way over that left, and again making sure there's no gap between the legs. Okay, and then we're going to roll the knees over to the left, but my right shoulder instantly wants to come off the ground, so I shuffle across a little bit just to keep that nice anchoring going on. And again, maybe prop your knees with a bolster or a pillow. I keep my nose pointing up with this one. You might notice a difference in each side as well, so there might be something going on in one side compared to the other. So 5 more breaths here. And then that last one, take a nice deep breath in. Nice big sigh out. And make your way all the way back to centre, really nice and slow, don't rush it. Hug your knees into your chest and just have that little rock side to side. Maybe roll the head. Okay, so we're gonna couple of options with this next one, and I've been trying a few different things at home. Just reawaken up the other computer. So we're going to do a toe stretch, and a toe stretch is fantastic because feet and everything else is linked all together. But you do have a couple of options, because I know a few of us, or a lot of us, maybe don't like toe stretches. I do actually quite like them. And it's great for gardening if you've been doing a lot of gardening. So options are, let me show you before we start it. So if you've got a bolster here, you could use a bolster or a couple of pillows or something that's going to lift the knees up. You prop your knees on that bolster and then you tuck your toes under and you sit your bum back. So this is quite strong actually for a lot of people. I don't know if it's if it's been drilled into me over years, we're doing a lot of yoga, you know, I actually find this quite nice and quite enjoyable in a strange way. So this one is nice. You can do it without prop, maybe just keep the knees on the floor, hands up or hands here. This is obviously intensifying it a little bit. You can change it. Another option is to just come back onto laying on your back, and I did this one in bed the other day. Prop your leg up like so in a figure of 4 and just grab hold of your toes and just pull them back. You could actually almost give yourself a little foot massage whilst you're laying on the ground. So if you want something a little bit more restorative here, okay? So saying that, you won't even, well, if you don't want to lay down, you could even just sit and do it and just pull the toes back. So it's up to you what you fancy doing. Okay, so I'm going to do the bolster though, so you choose, but whichever you're choosing, you could switch them around if they become too intense, but we're going to do 3 rounds of probably just under a minute, okay, of each round. So it is quite a strong one. So I'm going to pop my knees on my bolster, tuck my toes under, and then sit tall in your spine. So we'll have a go. Try and relax your shoulders and relax all of the muscles around the body. Notice if you're putting more weight into one side compared to the other, so try and distribute your weight well. Try and relax your jaw. Okay, 5 more breaths. And on that last one, nice big breath in. Big breath out. Well done. Release. Nice to just do something opposite, so maybe just slapping your feet against the floor or giving your toes and your ankles a big twirl around. Cool. We're going to do that 2 more times. So you choose. You could just alternate, do something a bit different, and maybe come sit on your bum and just pull those toes back, or trying something a little bit more advanced maybe. So closing your eyes, start to tune in sensations. Our body's really good, really smart. Our body's smart, very, very smart. We've got different receptors all over the body, over 7,000 nerve endings in our feet. And it recognises pain in so many different ways. Physical, internal, and it all means something to us. And what we associate pain with. But is it a pain that we can almost bear, or is it uncomfortable? Is it pleasant? Just noticing, but without reacting. And it's not necessarily who can bear it the most, it's observational and it's reflective. We're here for just 5 more breaths. And the last one, take a nice deep breath in, nice big sigh out. Well done, release. Give your feet a nice celebratory slap against the floor. Oh, give your toes a twirl. Oh, well done. We are going to do one more round. So yeah, you can choose again what you would like to do. I'm going to do the same because I quite like that option. Yeah. So last round. Option is, if you're feeling it, if you really are feeling this, because this one is quite an advanced one, you could take a Kali Mudra, goddess of strength. So you interlace your fingers, but leave your index finger pointing forward, like so. And try not to grip at your hands, just let them relax. Now, mudra's a suggestion, a reminder. Okay, 5 more breaths. And then take a nice deep breath in. Nice big sigh out. And gently release, let it go. Release your feet. If you have any little stretches you want to do, maybe even just stretching out the legs as well, which is a good one. Cool. So our next little one we're going to do is a 2-part sequence. So it's a Malasana, a yogi squat, into what we call it like a dangle. Lovely for back, lovely for hips, lovely for decompressing the spine, things like that. So you might need a prop like a pillows, blankets, something that's going to lift the hips up a little bit. You can do it without if you want, that's fine, but I prefer to be on a bolster. So we're going to start with our squat. So we're going to come around and squatting down. So just give yourself a moment just to find your squat. So you could go prop yourself on edge of a settee, maybe that's an option. You don't have to use a prop, but I do. I love using props. So elbows are on the inner knees if you can. Knees are pretty much in line with those ankles if you can. If they're too strong, then pull your feet forward. And then try and find a nice long spine. So you could have your hands together in your prayer pose, what we call Namaskara Mudra, connecting our heart, which is lovely. Or you could do your Kali Mudra, which is nice, or incorporating maybe your Lotus Mudra, which is another nice one to do. So you choose. All around your hips, let it go. Let your lower back just breathe. Let your shoulders roll down your back. We're going to be here for 5 more breaths. Try and explore some really nice belly breathing. And then we're going to turn it into a dangle next. So after your 5th breath, take a nice deep one in. And then just sigh it out. open up your eyes and gently start to lean your weight forward. So it's a forward fold with soft knees. So we're going to lift the hips, turn your toes to point forward or even maybe slightly out today. Really relax your knees and let your belly come onto your thighs. See if you could grasp your elbows and let your head go. I'm going to be here around maybe even just half a minute, and we'll try the next one up to a minute because this one's quite a strong one. If back is feeling it today, maybe just having your elbows on your knees, and it's as if we're doing a little wild wee. But yeah, it's quite nice. Really let your head and your shoulders relax. Just here for 5 more breaths. And then just slowly try not to lift your head above your heart too quickly, but just sink the bum back down into your squat. You might get a little bit of a head rush, so try not to rush things. Always come back to your breath. So our next dangle, we'll do it a little bit longer, but if you feel it's long enough, then come back down and just rest. So when you're ready, we're going to have one more go. So leaning the weight forward, turn it into your forward fold so the toes point out, heels point in maybe a little bit, and explore if your hamstrings are quite loose and free and there's no back pain, no hip pain, then maybe work towards straightening up your legs. But if not, soften your knees, let your head and your shoulders just relax. Notice again if you're leaning onto one leg more than the other, can you distribute it even so the weight between your feet is nice and equal. You're more than halfway there now. Okay, slowly open up your eyes. Gently make your way back down. So remove any blocks. I'm going to put my bolster at the front of my mat and I'm just stepping back. Let's come to all fours. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath your hips next. Spread your fingers, press down through your hands. Let's do a couple of cat cows. So inhale and just drawing your belly down, lifting the sit bones, lifting the heart space. And then the exhale takes you into a nice rounded back, chin towards the chest. Inhale and draw your belly down. And then the exhale, take a nice round of your back. And again, inhaling. And the exhaling around. One more, inhale. And exhale. Come all the way back to neutral. We'll go for our sleeping swan next, so known as our pigeon pose. So we'll start with the right leg today. So right knee's going to step forward. Wiggle your right foot over to the left a little bit. So we're externally rotating in the hip. And then just slide that left leg back. Now I personally like to roll onto my right butt. Give it a little wiggle. Just make sure nothing's sticky there. Nice little easy massage. Now, usually in a normal class, we'd be working with that shin parallel towards the front of the mat and trying to like square off the hips. That's too yang for this, so maybe just leave your leg halfway. Just try not to sit on your shin because that's not very good for knee. It's a very weird position for the knee. It's very open, so it's not very good in long-term practices. So, well, it depends on the body, to be fair. So, so the pillow maybe comes underneath your hip just to add a little bit more comfort. And as you lift up, when you're going to lay down, think about the spine going that way. So we're lengthening the spine, not just kind of like going, oh yeah, I'll come down. Think about growing your spine longer, yeah? And then it's really helpful for back muscles. And any kind of like tension around neck. So any props, bolster, anything you want support in. Try and have your back knee pointed down towards the ground as well. So sometimes we have that tendency to point the knee outwards. Yeah, just see if you can point it down so it really targets the back of the hips, which is always lovely. So it's not a massive long hold because it is quite a strong pose to do. Okay, 5 more breaths here. And then the last one, take a nice deep breath in. Nice big sigh out. Lifting the head all the way back up. And just gently use your hands, remove any props, and just slide your leg back. Take a downward dog or any kind of like extra positions you want to do just to kind of release the hip. There we go. And then have a go at getting it into the other side next. So we'll just slide that left knee towards that left wrist, wiggling that left foot over to the right, and just have a go at sliding your right leg back. And again, I like to roll onto my left hip and just kind of like nurture it a little bit. Just sometimes when you go really like into these poses, and if your body's not ready for it, it kind of has a bit of a shock. So yeah, this rocking sensation, it's very rhythmic, very harmonic for the body. So you might need, like, especially if the hips are quite high up off the floor and you're like trying to force it down, that's a sign you want to prop. So, or maybe just prop anyway, because it's just added comfort. Okay, and then coming down, but make sure your spine's nice and long, you're not just gently flopping down. And then just taking your head down. Always coming back to your breath. Let's do 5 more breaths here. And that last one, take a nice deep inhale. Nice big sigh out. Slowly lifting all the way back up. Release any proppage. Slide your leg back. Take any little movements you want to do, like downward dog or just simply stretching your leg back. Anything you feel comfortable with. Cool. So we're going to do something, it's a little bit more restorative, but it's restorative for the upper body, but I think it's very yin for the lower body when I've practiced this at home anyway. You will need like maybe a rolled up blanket, some pillows, something you can prop your spine with, but then the lower body you can just sort of like maybe have some pillows, or maybe I'll show you anyway what I'm going to do so you get an idea. So I'm going to use one of my in fact, I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use my brick here just to create a little lift so it's not totally flat. And you might want like a pillow on the edge of the bolster so you've got something comfy for your head. I've got a bit of a dodgy hip, so I always use my bricks. I'll test it out first. If it's alright, I don't. But if it's dodgy, I do. Yeah, through dancing in my kitchen like an idiot. I've had it a while. So these bricks We're going to come down like so, and it's called Supta Baddha Konasana, but it's like half reclined, which is nice. So soles of the feet together, knees nice and wide, and again, if your hips are not too great, you might need to just prop it with some pillows, books. If it feels okay, yeah, it feels okay, then don't. So you can allow this to happen, but I like to kind of push my feet a little bit further down my mat. Lower backs is quite a big one with this one, because if the pelvis is tilted forward, the lower back is quite compressed, so your discs and your facets and things like that are quite compressed. What I quite like to do is just lift my hips up a little bit, pull the pubic bone towards my face, and then just melt all the way down, but it puts a lot more through that psoas because of the direction of the pelvis. Your head, if you're using props, I like to kind of really support my neck, so just making sure my back and my head's nice and happy, even tucking things under, and then all my upper chest is just nice and free, just to breathe. You'll know when you've found that position because you can just stay in it, you can breathe in it. But even sometimes when you feel like you want to get out of it, that's the point of learning in poses, and it creates these, we call them samskaras. Samskara is usually like internal mirroring, or sometimes internal scarring, but not bad. You remember things, like muscle has memory. So closing the eyes. Whole body just start to really relax, especially the whole front of the body. Your jaw relaxes, the belly softens. So at any point, if you want to change your leg position, maybe releasing that Baddha Konasana, maybe going for an internal rotation one where the knees are together and the feet are a bit wider, or even just stretching your legs down the mat, and that's another option as well. And if you're happy to stay here for the remainder of the class, just let your body, let everything just slow down. Or if you want to come into your Shavasana, then go for it. Really try and let your legs and your arms become super heavy, and the muscles in the face relax. Now gently start to breathe a little bit deeper. Fill your lungs and your belly right up. And then as you let it go, let your belly go first. And then your ribs follow. This synchronicity with the breath. Inhale, let everything expand naturally, gradually. And then belly first. Ribs follow. One more time, nice deep breath in. Belly first. Then ribs. Then awaken up the mouth, lick the lips and run the tongue around the teeth. Hammer swallow. Stretch your fingers and start to wiggle toes. Maybe sway the legs, do any kind of little movements you want to do. And then reach your arms all the way back and just have a really nice big stretch out where you are. Have a squeeze, have a yawn. And then bring your arms back and we'll just come to laying onto our side, right or left. It's all of good. Opening up your eyes. Notice where you are, how you feel. And then gently, slowly make your way back up to that seated position with a nice long back. Sitting tall. And then we'll just take the hands to the heart center. Thank you for joining me for practice today. I hope you have a lovely week, whatever you're getting up to.